Hey everyone, this is MusicTechHelpGuy, and welcome to another episode of Free Plugin Weekly. Today we're checking out the PanCake plugin from Cable Guys. It's got a funny name, but it's a very, very cool plugin for modulating the pan of a synth or of an instrument freely over time. This can be clock synced. You can sync it to your tempo of your session, and you can also sync it to hertz as well. So this is a really cool plugin for pan modulation. So I've just got a really simple musical example here with just a saw, sort of like a saw pad instrument up here, a bass, and some drums. So let's listen to this as is. Okay, so the synth is just a really basic sawtooth pad. Let's go ahead and turn on PanCake here, and I'm going to click right here. And what this is going to do is it's going to conform the pan shape into a sine wave. So it's going to pan over to the left, then pan over to the right. Now, the speed at which this pans is controlled up here. You have your LFO controls. You can also store up to 10 different LFO wave shapes. So if I want, say, the sine wave on wave 1, I can do that. And then I can go over to wave 2, maybe change it over to a triangle wave. And then what you can do is you can go back to wave 1, click on the magnifying glass, and it will show that particular wave. So you can store up to 10 different wave shapes here. You can also choose between beat synced or hertz synced options. I'm going to choose beat synced. And then you can choose the rhythmic value to clock sync to the tempo of your session. So I'm going to do a quarter note for now. So let's just listen to what this sounds like now with PanCake in. So I was just switching around between some of the different rhythms here. So you've got, 128th notes, 64th notes, 32nd notes, 16th notes, 8th notes, all the typical stuff. Then you have dotted values as well. And you also have whole bars. So a bar, bar and a half, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars, and so on. So you can do longer panning sweeps. Like I said before, you can click here to switch it to sine wave. But what I did there before was you can click on this and it'll put it to a classic triangle shape. The cool thing about PanCake is not just using sine wave or triangle. The cool thing about it is there are you can basically create any shape you want. So you can grab these little points and move them around, but you can also click on the line to create additional points. So let me just create some sort of like a little custom shape here. And then let's give that a listen. And then we can take that custom shape and we can speed it up or slow it down up here. Now, if you want a stepped shape, first, let me click here on the little trash can to delete all of my points and start with a straight line again. If you click right here, you can activate steps drawing. So this will actually create a stepped pattern as opposed to a fluid pattern. And it also snaps left and right to sort of like not a grid, but a pan amount. So the further to the left, the more left it is. The further to the right, the more right it is. So let's just create sort of like a stepped motion here. Let's give that a listen. Now you can also click here, and what this does is it snaps the waveform to the grid. So when you pull up or down a point, it actually snaps to the grid as opposed to moving fluidly. Another thing you can do is over here, you can see all of our stored waves. So this is on wave 1. Let's say I want to create another pattern. I can click on wave 2, And you can select the wave here as opposed to selecting it over here. So I could create a completely different pattern and then switch back to wave 1 or wave 2 and try out a bunch of different patterns and see which one I like best. Now, one of the other cool things about this is there is a blend knob or a mix knob. So this basically controls the wet signal, the fully pan signal, with the dry signal. So you can sort of hide the modulation so it's not as hard of a panning effect. Now, one last feature in PanCake that's really cool that I'm not going to demonstrate just for sake of brevity is you can actually trigger your different patterns with MIDI. So you can assign each pattern to a different MIDI note, and you can trigger it with your keyboard controller, or really any MIDI controller. So we could assign pattern 1 or wave 1 to C1, and then we could assign pattern 2 to maybe D1. And so you can use your MIDI keyboard to switch between different wave shapes. All right, so that's the PanCake plugin from CableGuys. You can check it out at cableguys.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.